Welcome back, fellow problem drinkers that are learning how to moderate. And you see that there's still some holiday stuff up because my sister and my niece are coming and I wanted them to see it. It's a little too light, isn't it? I'm going to move over. So, today, I am talking about triggers. What's a trigger? And why don't you stop the video right now and get yourself a piece of paper and a pen. Welcome back. My triggers when I was younger. I was walking in the house and the energy was really heavy. My mother was upstairs in her bedroom. Sometimes, if that door was closed, you knew she was on Percocet or codeine or whatever the hell she could get her hands on. And the kids were upstairs. And, when your mother, who is the matriarch of the house, is not there, but worse, she's killing herself. And, back then we didn't realize, we were like, wow, our mother doesn't care about us. Our mother cares more about herself and making herself happy than us. Now, knowing the emotional octopus that addiction is, plus she was bipolar and personality disorder, I understood a hell of a lot as I got older. But anyway, going into that house was a trigger. And I would put a white light over me. I would try. This is what one of my mentors told me. Walk into the house, put a white light over you and feel the energy of the white light. Sometimes it would work. Other times I would go to the big bar that we had, which had vodka, wine, scotch. I hated scotch, whatever, cocaine back there. And sometimes Dad would leave some secanols or whatever. And I would go, fuck it. I would go, boom, or take something, because I didn't want to feel death in that house. And it took a while, it took time to be able to go into the house and go, today I'm not going to do anything, even though I can, even though it's free, even though it's there. And I'd go and just try and listen to music with my sisters or whatever. Another trigger was having a fight with my husband. And my husband just drank every day. He was from Russia, and you could not talk to him. You do not talk to him when he's drinking because you'll just be arguing. So you really, you come home from work and you can't really talk to the person that you're living with because you can't talk to him when he's drinking, so you can't work out your life. And you drink. Till you don't. Till you learn not to. And that was very hard. That was very hard. What else were some of my triggers? Being down here in Florida. It's happy hour all the damn time. And when I first came down here and started to write my book last year, 10 pounds. Because not only was it happy hour all the time here, but writing my book was a hellish nightmare. It was hellish. Going over all that stuff. If any of you read the book, which is a great book, The Princess of 42nd Street, Surviving My Childhood as the Daughter of Times Square's King of Porn, go to Ramola.com and you can get it. That was a lot of hard stuff to write. That was a trigger for me. And sometimes I would just say to Elizabeth, my ghostwriter, enough. I already know once 5 o'clock comes around, I'm out. And then sometimes I would say, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to put on a movie. You're going to put on Netflix. Call a girlfriend. Go to a meditation. I was able to do that a lot of times, and sometimes I was not able to do it. And I just forgave myself. Because I knew once the book was over and all that, I'd go right back to where I wanted to be. And that's what I did, because that's what I do. I want to be happy. I want to feel proud. So on your piece of paper, what are your triggers? Going to work, a crazy boss, fighting with your mom or your dad or your boyfriend, stress, and write all that on one column. And then what can you do instead of drinking? So you have the trigger. You want to feel better. That's the goal. So what can we do instead of going for the vodka or the beer or the whatever? I like to watch movies, fantasy movies. I like to get involved in Netflix. I like to go to guided meditations. I like to be around people and somebody's doing a guided meditation. If I can't do that and it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I will go on the internet and I will look up Linda Hall and listen to her. Or Esther Hicks, listen to her. Eckhart Tolle, who sometimes is a little too deep, but listen to him. And you find your own mentors. That's really, really, really important. Finding people to help the records in your head change. So anyway, I have those triggers. Stress, loneliness is a very big trigger for me. I have super duper duper abandonment issues. I didn't have a mother and father to make me feel safe. If anything, there were two monsters in the house that I had to, don't you touch that kid, don't you do that, get upstairs, don't, starting at 5 years old. So I have abandonment issues. And then there was lots of people at my house. So that kind of helped. And now, after getting divorced and losing his family that I loved, and the kid, and it was hellish. And then my brother shot himself, and he lived. I suffer from loneliness. So I've learned, call a friend, try to see a friend twice a week, watch a movie, go for a ride. And now I even got myself a job. I'm the hostess with the mostest at a place called Guanabanas up in Jupiter, Florida. And it's a big, Florida Caribbean kind of place, and people bring their boats, and people do, what is that boarding thing where you stand up, paddle boarding? It is so much fun. It is so much fun. And it's just, 11 to 4, 12 to 5, but it's great for me. So, and everybody there is wonderful. Thank you. So I created that for myself because it's good. So you have your piece of paper and you write down what your triggers are, and then think about what can you do instead of the beer or the pot or the martini or the wine or the scotch. What can you do? It can take you time to make that happen, but put it down. Some people don't even know, what can I do instead of drinking? I remember in the beginning, what could I do, coming home and just having that first sip or two and everything's, better, who wants to take 20 minutes to meditate? No, drinking is quick. I remember. But then I did learn to come home from work when I lived in Manhattan and sit down and slow the engine, slow myself down. If I didn't want to meditate, I'd hug my dogs. I'd put on some music and dance. That's a big one for me. Dave Matthews, The Grateful Dead, REM. I could go on, but that's a big one for me. Turning on music and dancing to help get all that out, that's good for me. So you guys need to figure out what you can do when the trigger is going to happen, going out after work. What can you do when you really, really want to drink? And you can drink, but keeping it to moderation. What can you do? And many people that I would work with, they don't want people to know that they're trying to moderate. A lot of times I would say, tell them you're on antibiotics. Or get a Virgin Bloody Mary. Bartender, could I have a Virgin Bloody Mary? Ginger ale with a lime in it. They don't have to know. Or get water first. Figure out what you can do with those trigger situations, and it'll take time to implement them. It will. It'll take time. You're on a journey here. It doesn't happen overnight, whether you want it to or not. It just doesn't. Get that through your heads. Okay, that's the story. That's what I have to say about triggers. I am working on getting some forms on my my website, but I did tell you how I am with paperwork, but I'm going to do it. So, adios, my fellow problem drinkers that are on the road to moderation. Until next time, Romola.